Coming up in today's video, we've got some sticky earwax for you that's really stuck to the canal walls in this one. My name is Rhys Barber. I'm one of the audiologists here at Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching our TikTok video today. And in here, we can see we've got this super duper sticky wax. Now, this patient has been using cotton buds. We can tell that because we've got this very thin layer of wax around the outside edge of the ear canal and this very pushed in central section of the wax as well. Now, what that's effectively done is form this really sticky outer layer here. You can see we're lifting a little bit of dead skin as well as the wax off this canal wall. That's quite common. Sometimes if somebody's been using cotton buds a lot, you do get the skin drying out that a little bit more, and you will get this kind of very tacky nature to the wax if it's been in there a little while. Pushing that in, keeping using those cotton buds is basically going to make this wax super duper hard. It hasn't quite got to that point, but you can see I'm having to wrestle with this wax plug a little bit. Luckily, the patient has been using some olive oil before they come along, which has made this a lot easier to do. But you can see this gentle kind of movement we're making with the standard size ulnar tube here, just working this down the canal. So it is on its way. There we go, out. That is starting to come. There we go, all the way out to that ear canal there. Let's take a look beyond that. Now you can see we've just broken that first section of wax away, so we've still got another really deep layer. Now you can see that this is much harder. We're not so much looking at a sticky wax here, more of a solid wax. And this would be the oldest wax. So this would have been the bit that was pushed in first and everything pushed on top of it, which does make it that little bit harder to get out. But luckily, we've managed to break some of the edges away. Now, what I'm doing here is chipping away at the outside edge of that wax, just so that when we get a grip, we can pull it down the canal more effectively. Now, sometimes, if the wax is formed in a specific shape of the canal, it's difficult to negotiate the bends on the way down because your ear canal doesn't stay a consistent shape and size all the way down. It will be subtle fluctuations in the shape and the size as well. So sometimes if you're pulling a wax plug down, it's hard. It'll hit a smaller section. You won't be able to pull it through. Luckily here, we're managing to pull on the top section of the wax. And we've managed to fold this over. You can really see how I'm having to wiggle my socks off here to get this out. So we're getting there slowly. Don't forget, guys, if you do enjoy the videos, you can always like, heart, share, follow, and subscribe for me. If you have ear problems, check out the Linktree, reserve yourself an appointment online, or give us a call and book yourself in. And you can see this last plug. There we go. It's come away. There's more in the entrance here, so we're going to have to pull this section. This was pretty much the ear that just kept giving on this side. Look at this now. You can see what I mean. We've got this section now that's much bigger. We're trying to wiggle this out of the entrance to the canal. And out that comes. There we go. There's the plug. Out it comes. And there's the eardrum bond. You can actually see the sort of staining on the eardrum. That's a very thin, almost soft bit of wax. So that wax was actually pushed right down on top of the eardrum. And this is why we say to people to try not to use cotton buds when you're cleaning your ears. You don't need to use them. Just use a bit of olive oil on a regular basis, and then just wash whatever wax you can see on the outside portion of the ear there. Just wash that away with your baths or showers. You really don't need to be digging around in there. So this is the patient's other ear canal. We can see a very different type of wax on this side. This is much lighter. It almost looks crumbly. Now this to me is a good indication the patient has a very dry canal, so the wax is dried out. The reason it's so light in color is because there's a lot of bits of flakes of dry skin in here as well. So you can see it's a very different type of wax. Out this is starting to come. Now this ear canal would have been super duper itchy because when the ear canal becomes quite dry, our body sort of produces almost like an itching sensation in it to encourage us to get in there and scratch it off. And that's because you've got this dry layer sitting on top of the skin, and as the ear canal moves with your jaw movement, so as it flexes like this, these two layers are passing over one another, and that's what's giving you that really itchy sensation. Now the best thing this patient can do is to use some olive oil regularly. I would say probably about once a week. I'd be putting a couple of drops or a couple of sprays of olive oil if you're using a spray olive oil in there. It's going to do two things. It's going to help to moisturize this skin, and it's going to help to relieve any itchiness or dryness in there as well, which is going to have a massive impact on this. And any newly formed wax then will absorb that oil and become much softer. So you can see it's coming away very well there. We're breaking this away in smaller pieces, but it is coming out. Now we've got this harder lump that needs to come away now. It depends on the size and shape of this as to whether we can get this out of the canal, but it looks promising. And out Whoops, nearly, almost. And out that comes, there we are, all the way out of the canal now. You can see just how dry that almost looks brittle and crumbly. And we can see on the side here, those dry layers. Look how we lift this up. See how it peels away, almost like there's a layer of skin underneath it. There you go, look at that. Then this is the reason it's been really, really dry and crumbly. Now, I would say this is probably just a natural dryness to the canal, but if the patient we know has been using a cotton bud, because they used it on the other side, if they've been using cotton buds on this side as well, what we're going to end up with then is just this drying. You're going to be stripping all the natural oils away from the canal wall. It's going to encourage this dryness to the canal wall again. Eardrum, though, in fairness, looks lovely and healthy. There's no issues there whatsoever. Just a couple more little pieces just in that roof or the attic of the ear canal there. Let's get rid of this last little bit. Always difficult, these tiny pieces of dry skin, but that's looking so much better. There you go, out that